guys, welcome back to The Horror with your hostess with the mostest, Janabelle, as always. Welcome back and thank you for checking me out. So I want to do a video real quick that was kind of inspired by one of my coworkers, Donna from work. A couple of weeks ago, I'd actually stopped into the store on my day off and I was getting some Starbucks. And her and I believe it was Evelyn, I think, who was working too at the same time. And they were kind of like asking me, like, what kind of like scares you? Like, what scares you? Like what movies scare you and stuff. And it's like, I kind of had a tough time really kind of, answering that because it's like, what really does scare me? Because, lots of movies that I watch, you guys know I've been watching horror movies since I literally could barely walk and stuff. And, like a lot of the stuff I watch, like Halloween, Friday 13th, Candyman, Hellraiser and stuff, I've seen this movie so many times and, similar films just like them that it's like, I'm a little immune to it. I'm not that scared. It's kind of like a guy in a hockey mask. Really not that scary, I'll admit. When I was like 5, yeah, it was scary. But now that I'm an adult, it's like, it doesn't really scare me. But I've been kind of thinking about it, like literally for a few weeks, and I'm always like, God, what really does scare me? And I would have to say stuff that like I kind of am forced to use my imagination with. An example is like when I first saw in theaters the Blair Witch Project, the first Blair Witch Project. I know that movie, a lot of people criticize, a lot of people kind of dump on it because it's like, oh, nothing happens, you don't see anything. Personally, I kind of like it for that reason because it, because you don't see anything, you're really kind of forced to, use your mind and use your imagination of like, oh my God, like what do you think happened? And I feel like that, at least for me, is, the scariest thing. Is like it's stuff that comes up in my mind is probably far more scarier than what they could have put on that screen if they did show anything. And especially too, like the last scene of that movie where you see the guy standing against the wall and everything, and the camera falls, and it's like, oh my God, it's like the things that like came into my mind when I first saw that, like scared the shit out of me. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. But like stuff like that, like I said, I know a lot of people really dump on that movie because of that. There's nothing that's shown, there's no payoff, of seeing like what the Blair Witch looks like or anything. Or even like stuff like I've seen lately too, like before like people's videos and stuff, a couple of these like sort of like the reaction text or something of like where, it's like, oh, dad, oh, blah, 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 and then the son, blah, 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 and like, it like very kind of mundane conversation and then turns into like, oh my God, who's there? Okay, no, get the flashlight. Okay, you gotta get out of the house. Like stuff like that has kind of like, I found it's been kind of like, like it kind of creeps me out a lot because once again, I gotta use my imagination and it's like, the stuff that's going on in my mind when I'm like reading that stuff, it's like, or even stuff that like I was reading up on like Slender Man and stuff, like little like creepypastas and stuff, little like short stories that people were kind of writing about Slender Man and stuff, or like little like urban legends like that. Really kind of like creep me out a little bit, because once again, you got to use your imagination and stuff, and it's like, I know a lot of people like, oh, God forbid you have to use your imagination about stuff, especially if it's like within a movie such as Blair Witch or something, or what's the one movie that a lot of people had like negative stuff to say because it didn't like pay off, like the Babadook or something, which I have not seen yet. I want to. I know like, it really doesn't pay off at the end because I guess they don't show the monster or something, but it's like, once again, I'm kind of like intrigued to see that movie because I want to know like what my imagination would come up with in my head. Because once again, I feel like it's like, our imaginations, if we let our imaginations kind of run wild with some of this stuff, it would really sort of like be a lot scarier than what they could have put on the screen, which I like. I like that sometimes with with some films where the director or the writer lets us use our imagination and let us have like our own sort of experiences with that. It's kind of like with Halloween with the Michael Myers mask, because it's like, you know, it's a very blank canvas of a vase, and it's kind of like you could kind of put whatever you want on that vase. Like, even though we all know it's the William Shatner mask, the original one, but it's still like, you know, a lot of people, I can guarantee you, you ask, you know, 10 people to describe that mask. And even though it's a plain white mask, you know, it's been the same mask for years pretty much with a few minor alterations. You're pretty much going to get 10 different answers of what people see in that mask. So, but yeah, that's a little bit of like kind of what scares me a little bit, what creeps me out a little bit. Let me know what you guys are scared of and what creeps you out. You guys know I love to hear your opinions about it. But until next time, you guys, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.